drama with the Joe Budden Podcast is very deep, and it should be a cautionary tale for anybody that's out here trying to mix friendship with business, trying to make money with your friends, all of that. Okay. I listen to Joe Budden. I listen to Rory and Ma. I don't, you can get a glimpse of what happened. I don't think either side knows what to make of it. Neither side planned this. I've been listening to the Joe Budden podcast for years. I knew of Joe Budden from his hit single "Pump It Up" in 2003, but I never really listened to anything he released since then. But Everyday Struggle was a really good show, and I watched that for the entirety of when he was on it, a little bit after, but once he was gone, the show was dead. I didn't start listening to the Joe Budden podcast until the Migos thing happened. And then you saw clips of Joe Budden talking to Rory and Ma about the Migos thing on his podcast. And academics had to respond to what Rory and Ma was saying on the podcast. That's what got it all started. That was 2017. So since then, I've been watching the Joe Budden podcast because that's less filtered than what was on Everyday Struggle. What I'm getting from both sides is Joe Budden is egotistical. He is a very prideful person. And if he makes a mistake, it's his mistake to cover up. He really is a person that should not see success, because if he sees success, he will become more of the asshole that he hides. In his failures, he learned how to maneuver without approval. But when that person who fails all the time starts getting success, they don't know how to act with it. You get big-headed. You get more prideful. You get more resentful. You start to think you can do stuff on your own. You had a great show, Joe Budden, with Rory and Ma being your sidekicks, your side mics. Of course, you was the star. Of course, you was the A mic. Your name was on the marquee, but without those two, what good is your singular voice for 2.5 hours? Are you thinking about that? Rory and Mom, I can't really feel sorry for y'all. Y'all too old to be depending on another man's hand to be gracious enough to feed you and clothe you and house you. You're gonna have to at some point be like, okay, this man is not the greatest leader. He's not the greatest boss. He's not the greatest person to align yourself with in business. I'm gonna have to separate my sources of income from him at some point. Some point between 2016 and 2021, you should have said, okay, this man, his ego, the way he maneuvers, I need to be able to get money without him. And whatever this is, that'll just be extra because it's not yours. Your name is not on it. You could talk all the stuff about what you brought to it, but if your name is not on it, you don't own it, what could you possibly do? So yeah, he probably was, bullshitting with the percentages and with the percentages and the payouts, but you have to be like, okay, let me go somewhere else and get mine. We can get yours later. You know what I'm saying? Maul has a lot of potential. You know what I'm saying? He has the personality. He can do whatever he want to do and be good at it. Rory, he's a great sidekick. He doesn't have a personality to be in the spotlight like that. He's a great sidekick. But that's a cautionary tale. You have to get your own shit. Get your shit together. Because then and only then can you dictate what you're going to get, and it actually happens. Depending on another man to be gracious enough to give you whatever, that's not going to cut it. Contract or no contract, handshake or no handshake. That's real. So, it's unfortunate because that was a great unit. They did what a lot of people want to do. They sat with their friends. They made great content. They laughed. They had great concepts. But when the money came in, niggas is looking at you different. Like, okay, what are you bringing? What are you bringing to the table? You can already tell Joe Budden, he ain't really used to money like that, so he gonna be like, nah, I need more. Then he trying to create a network and all of this. He's paying for everything. He's making the decisions. How are you in these rants when he's talking all of these contracts for Spotify, Apple Music, and all of this other stuff, and you just sitting on the sideline and you not thinking he's severing every relationship he has with companies that he doesn't work with anymore. When is this gonna happen to me? When is he gonna sever the tie and then rent on me? Y'all wasn't thinking that? I would have been thinking that. It makes no sense. You got to get your shit straight. Never depend on another man's hand, because you never know when that man will switch. Had you had your own shit, had you had some income coming in from somewhere else, and that man switched like that, yeah, it'll hurt, but it won't hurt as much, because you still clocking. You still going to the bank, pulling out whatever. Cautionary tale. Get it together, man. Get your business straight. All that friendship and shit, that's cool, but the money comes first. We can laugh and kick it later. Let's get to the money. Rest in peace to the Joe Budden Podcast.